and didn't play in the grand final. Stephen Lucas is our referee for tonight. It's the Mariners and Jets getting prepared. Joining me in commentary this evening is Andy Harper. And Andy, as I mentioned in the pre-match spiel, two sides in similar situations, searching for a new owner, but a new season is going to bring hopefully a new dawn for both.
Yeah, I think so. I'm very confident that that whatever's swirling around outside the four walls of the dressing room, certainly because it's game one, will have less of an impact. Very important, I guess, because of those circumstances, that both sides start well, because you don't want then to be looking over your shoulder at blaming other influences. And both teams look really ready to go. The Jets, it's a good 11 they've got on the field. There's some youngsters for the Mariners. We've seen how impactful the youngsters have already been in this first round of the A-League. A new off-field structure at the Central Coast as well might yield some greater stability and direction starting right here on kickoff. Looking forward to this one.
So here we go, the 51st F3 Derby underway, and the first on New Year's Eve in 15 years. Exciting times for both of these clubs. How can they start season 16 of the A-League? 3 points really tonight, Harps, a must.
Well, I think so. I think so. And of course, every game a team goes into, 3 points is the must. But there's the Derby consideration. There's the ownership situation. And 3 points would help settle everyone's nerves for both organisations.
It's top or Stanley. That's always the difficulty, isn't it? If you start slowly when things are going badly off the field, it can just creep into your performance. So important, especially for Newcastle, to start well. Lockie Jackson slotting in for Nigel Bogard, who's suspended for this one. Only found out about that a couple of days ago. Big loss for Newcastle, but Lockie Jackson, he's a quality player back from that ACL injury he suffered in round 16 last year against Wellington. Bazanik, and now top or Stanley, the skipper, towards Valentino Ewell. What can he do? He can win an early free kick.
Well, the first contribution of Ollie Bazanik, I echo your sentiments. Great to see him back, the Coastie boy back with the Mariners. And is now on the tail end of what's been a wonderful career. Plenty more to give, there's no doubt about that.
Do you remember his last match for the Mariners, Harps? Ollie Bazanik.
Well, no. Should I?
Well, it was the 2013 A-League Grand Final, a famous night
I remember
for the Mariners.
Now, if you'd said that, everyone would have known what you were talking about.
There he is giving away a free kick. What a couple of seasons he's had, though, in Scotland. What an experience that would be. So passionate, the fans. As Lockie Jackson comes off Qual, and now Angus Thurgate picking the ball up in midfield. Clisby flips it forward, looking for Matty Simon. 8 goals in F3 derbies for Matty. Here's Nisbet, looks for Qual in his 5th A-League match, and pass just going astray. Costa Petratos, plenty of space in front of him. He looks for the early pass, finds Valentino Ewell. O'Donovan had his arm up, racing in towards the back post, but it's going to come to nothing because Ewell has given away the foul.
Well, he's had a bubbly off-season, Ewell, but that was unfortunate. The work from Costa Petratos was outstanding. The control and then the pass to release Ewell was quite brilliant, really.
Coming into this one, both sides have had a decent run of form in the A-League. At the back end of last season, Newcastle just 1 win in their last 12, or 1 loss, I should say, in their last 12, as the flag is up against the Mariners. And the Central Coast come in on the back of a 3-match unbeaten run. 2 draws in that last start victory against Melbourne victory. The difference for Newcastle, though, is they have a different coach and a vastly different playing squad. Top or Stanley. And over the line for a Mariners throw. Just 2 losses in their last 17 against the Mariners for the Newcastle Jets. Negro. And now Stensness. The Aussie come Kiwi, back to Kai Rolls. Zanuck. Tongic. Scored against the Jets last year. Ruan Tongic, his first in the A-League in that 4-3 defeat in Newcastle. Rolls now, rolling it into the path of Clisby. Good touch from Casella. He cuts it back towards Quoll. Appeals from the Mariners fans for a penalty. But what a great early incision that was from Jaden Casella on A-League debut.
Well, it was a good switch out wide, and Clisby showed great speed to get on the end of it. And Casella did nice, the cut back. Found the well-positioned defensively, Angus Thurgate. Hoffman down on the far touchline.
Now, this is not good because he came into the match under an injury cloud, Jason Hoffman. And this is not a good sign for Newcastle.
Geez, Bozanic's foot wasn't half up either, just quietly.
Collected him. And the trainer is going to head out there for Newcastle.
Well, Adrian Luna for Melbourne City against Brisbane picked up a second yellow card. Fair enough, for his studs up and making contact. And that resulted in him being sent off for the second yellow. Oliver Zanuck with his foot up, player down injured, nothing. This is part of the inconsistency, as I'm seeing it, that can be difficult to manage in people's minds sometimes, and you can understand why Adrian Luna from Melbourne City looked so quizzically at the referee when he received his second yellow card. And this is not to dump on Oliver Zanuck. To repeat, it's great to have him back in the league, but the pictures don't lie.
Yeah, and you may have just seen that graphic on the screen. The VAR said the decision was upheld. Of course, they can only overturn that decision and award a red card to Bozanic. They cannot award a yellow card. So some people might be going, why don't you give him a yellow? Well, they can't. It's only a red card, and that's why he gets away with that one, the Mariners skipper.
And I think the bigger question now is, does Jason Hoffman get away with it? Doesn't look good.
Veteran of 225 A-League appearances now, Jason Hoffman. So consistent last season, 24 of 26 he played for Newcastle. As we go on, Duncan for the head of O'Donovan. Jackson. Quoll rises and, well, Ollie Bozanic again in the thick of things. And this is not great because Alu Quoll fell very awkwardly as he went up, and Ollie Bozanic took his hips out from under him. That's an awful look, that. Sickening.
Well, you just gasp, don't you? You see moments like that from time to time in plenty of the codes of football. There's going to be some time for the head injury assessment. Meanwhile, Jason Hoffman is walking to the bench. He'll be substituted.
So Lucas Moragas heads back out there. He made his debut against the Mariners in round 26 last season. He's out there a little earlier than he would have expected on New Year's Eve. And the question is, how will he perform out on the right? He is a very left-sided player. He's been battling with Connor O'Toole for that left fullback slot for Newcastle, but he's going to have to play on the right. How can the young man adapt? Just 19 years of age. And the good news is that Alu Quoll is looking a little better at the moment. No one has come to the bench for the Mariners, I should say to the sideline, just yet. Keep an eye on that. Ugarkovic searching for Petratos. Thurgate rolling it back to his midfield partner, Ugarkovic, top or Stanley. Jackson to Moragas, his first touch. Garkovic trying to find Valentino Yule. Clisby across to clean up for the Mariners. The Jets dominating possession inside the opening 10 minutes. 80% they've had thus far. Nazarene. There's the 1-2 with O'Toole. He scored his one and only A-League goal against the Mariners. Just was able to manoeuvre the pass in front of Petratos. And Costa turns and spins. He's going to get it on the rebound. Still going Petratos, Thurgate. Well, he'll wish he had his time over again there, Angus Thurgate.
Well, second very good moment from Costa Petratos. Thurgate's been in great form. End of last season and through the pre-season. Had good times with Graham Arnold and the Olyroos in camp. And on the basis of all that, this should have been a goal. It's going to become, if he keeps progressing his stock and trade, a goal-scoring midfielder. And he's going to stunt that progression. If he doesn't finish chances like that, it was a golden opportunity for the Jets.
His best goal-scoring season last year, Angus Thurgate with 2. Sometimes he's also affectionately known as the Port Macquarie Pele. And that's the one and only time I'm going to say that tonight, Harps.
One more than me.
Casella. And Valentino Yule almost held over on the ball there. So much excitement about Yule up north in Newcastle. Maragis. Stensness. And now O'Donovan may have done enough to pick the pocket of Kai Rolls, and free kick is going to go the visitors' way, much to the displeasure of the home fans. Here it was. Bit of a tangle between O'Donovan and Rolls, and then Clisby came from behind. Meanwhile, it's Valentino Yule delivering. Too close to Birighitti in the end.
Had some sting on it, though. Birighitti did well, as you'd expect. It was a regulation take, but it had a bit of fizz. Very comfortable, the Mariners goalkeeper. The bar for goalkeeping's been set very high to start this A-League season. Birighitti looking to continue in that vein for the Mariners.
Tongnick looking for Quoll. Jackson, good body position from the Newcastle centre half. Now O'Toole. Petratos. He's blocked off by Stensness. And Topor Stanley hooking it forward. O'Donovan, good touch in front of Nazarene, but he's had to take it back and find O'Toole. Birighitti comes out and extinguishes any chance of an opportunity for Newcastle.
The Jets have already found some decent space in behind the Mariners' back four. That will provide encouragement for Craig Deans.
Third stint as the caretaker coach for the Newcastle Jets, former W League Coach of the Year for the club as well, back in 15-16. As this is a free kick in a promising area for Newcastle. Clisby looks quizzically at Stephen Lucas.
They definitely caught him. It was very late as well. There's no doubt it was a free kick awarded. It's been lively. Good start to the game.
Ugarkovic curling. Tongnick rose highest. Now O'Donovan in front of Yule. The flag was up. And Mark Birighitti has it in his arms anyway. He's going to look to release Nisbet quickly here. And Joshy Nisbet cuts inside. Runs towards Simon. Further wide to Clisby. Now Casella linking up with Jack Clisby. Maragis forces him wide. A tangle in the corner. He somehow got a ball in towards Quoll. And that corner was all down to Jaden Casella.
Yeah, he did very well to dig that one out. Very tight circumstance. Getting rid of Moragas. Jarkovic there as an extra bit of help, but he still found enough space. Jackson defended it well. While there, just to make a bit of a nuisance of himself.
Clisby curling it deep. Stensness scored that stunning bicycle kick goal last year. Couldn't repeat it there. And now it's bouncing for O'Donovan. They can't get it away. Newcastle, they do eventually. And now there could be a problem here for the Central Coast. Negro didn't do enough with the header. And now Nazarene takes him on and beats him. Valentino Ewell has gone down in the centre of the park, and Nazarene has been dispossessed, and now the Mariners look to move it quickly. Simon. Nisbet moves out to the left. Returns it to Simon. The captain, Bozanic, onto Casella. Negro. And Stensness. Thomas Tongyik. Mariners happy just to calm things down. So in the 50 previous editions of the F3 Derby, the Mariners 15 wins, Newcastle 17, 18 draws in there. So pretty even down the years between the F3 rivals. Topor Stanley. Petratos. And now Casella. Some space in front of him on the left. Curling ball. Tried to dip it in front of Matt Simon, but Jackson was in the way for Newcastle. Moragas wide to Ewell. Young Lucas Moragas on a scholarship deal this season. Impressed at the back end of last year, given those opportunities under Carl Robinson. Now Ewell going toe-to-toe with Clisby and turning him around. Will it be a corner? Didn't seem like it was, because Ewell was desperately trying to prevent it crossing the byline.
He's already showing he's going to be a bit of a handful this evening for Clisby. Close control, lovely dummy. Clisby reacted well.
So just over 17 gone on New Year's Eve. The first time since 2005 that we've seen the Mariners and the Jets meet on the final day of the year. And now there's some space down the left here for the Mariners. There's the ball across, looking for Nisbet. They'll track it down. It was Casella again. Bozanic steps away from Nazarene. Stensness finds Jaden Casella. Swivels, hits Clisby, bends it towards Quoll. Will fall for Bozanic. He scored from this kind of range in the A-League before. Didn't get the shot away. Jarkovic prods it in front of Ewell. And this time Clisby back to mop up any kind of danger. Clisby too close to Jack Duncan. His 53rd appearance in the A-League, the Newcastle goalkeeper. Topor Stanley hitting it in front of O'Donovan. Tried to go with the early strike with the right hand the right boot and just didn't get the power behind it in the end to trouble Birighitti.
No more evidence of Newcastle dropping the ball over the rather flat Mariners defence. They haven't read the signal yet to close the ball down further up the field or the back four to drop, because Newcastle have exploited that space well, and if it keeps being afforded to the Jets, then they'll get a goal or two out of it.
There he is, Matty Simon, throwing himself about in that duel with Lockie Jackson. He scored more F3 Derby goals than any player. He's got 8. Roy O'Donovan with 7. Can they add to their account tonight? Matty Simon with the chance here, you'd sense. It's Jack Clisby. Maybe it's Alu Qual at the back post, just beyond him. He'll get there before it crosses the line. And a throw, the end result for the Mariners. Stensness links up with Nisbet. Little clip there from Thurgate, and oh, here we go, getting a little bit testy.
Well, it's taken a while for a little bit of shirt fronting. There wasn't much to it, to be honest. If we were going to get a spark, it would have flown when Bozanic topped Jason Hoffman. That seemed to go through to the keeper.
So Clisby on free kick duty here. How much bend can he get on this left boot? Decent delivery. Duncan has to punch. Back goes Bozanic. Bit of work to do for Tongyek, and Costa Petratos with the clearance momentarily. Mariners may come at them again, but the header is going to fall for Ugarkovic. Ewell. Nazarene on this spin and turn. Petratos finds Ugarkovic. Making the run down the left and finding Petratos. Good tackle from Kai Rolls. But still Newcastle applying some pressure. Ugarkovic finds Topor Stanley. What a professional Steve Ugarkovic is. He has expressed his desire to leave the club, but while he's still there, he's going to put in 100% for the side. And credit to him. He hasn't thrown his toys out of the cot.
No, and not only is that his obligation as a professional, you rightly point that out, but there's a lot to be gained for Steve in putting his head down and continuing with his form. Because I'm not quite sure how long his deal with the Jets is, but it's not as though you're going to go to another A-League club and make bagfuls of money, because salary caps are pretty much extinguished. So he's got a lot to gain by continuing the great service he's already provided for the Jets. He's a super player, there's no doubt about that. Be one of the top midfielders in the country, hence the interest in his services.
Yeah, well, I can tell you he's signed until the end of this season, and this is his 6th at the club. He was signed by Scott Miller. And what a servant he has been. You just saw the stat. 119 games for Newcastle, 7 goals, started every match last season. Nisbet into the path of Qual. Another free kick going the Mariners' way. A bit stop-start, hasn't it, the last few minutes?
And if there's anything splitting the teams, Benny, at the moment, I think the Mariners had a bit more sting in their tackling. And this is not the foul that was adjudged. Thurgate. The infringement was the play before then. Net result's pretty much the same. It's been a really boisterous start by Central Coast. Definitely, I mean, both teams are definitely up for it game 1, but The only thing slightly separating the teams, as I'm watching it at the moment, is a little bit of extra sting in the tackling from the Mariners.
Clusby, hand a header. It was all right from Alu Kuol. Wasn't going to beat Duncan at the near post, but again, the Mariners getting on the end of a set piece. There's a throw for Newcastle. And the exciting thing is for the Central Coast, they've got 3 of their imports in quarantine at the moment, and they'll be chomping at the bit to get out there. Stefan Jankovic from Serbia, Marko Urenja from Costa Rica. He, of course, scored in the 2014 World Cup, that incredible run that Costa Rica had. And Michal Janota from Poland. Ugarkovic wide into the path of Yule. Falls for Thurgate. Where's his option? It's Ugarkovic. Yule. That duel between Yule and Clisby is going to be a fascinating one to watch unfold tonight. Ugarkovic to O'Toole. Comes off Nisbet.
Excellent work from Nisbet to close down. That's Newcastle's best sequence of possession. They set the field up nicely. They had moved the ball around well. They've come up short here now. Nazarene pushed off the ball a little bit too easily.
Yeah, how about that strength and power from Gianni Stensness? Look at him go. In front of Simon, there looked to be a handball. I tell you what, I know he didn't score at the end of it, and I know it's not a semi-final, but I had shades of Terry Antonis in that famous semi-final goal, the way he was pushing away defenders as he rushed down that right edge, Gianni Stensness. That
deep in injury time. That was after Antonis, you remember, scored an own goal before that. So this is Nazarene. That's not a great clip for Remy. He got beaten in the first exchange and then couldn't foot it with Stensness. The referee had a stern talking to Remy Nazarene on the way back about the shirt pulling. Once the game settles, he's going to be a key player for the Jets. Such a talented individual. Get the ball in some space and start setting up the Jets' attack.
While I was going through the 3 men, the Mariners have got to look forward to come back into the side. The Jets are also looking forward to returning stars Nigel Bogard, Johnny Katrumbis, and also Ben Kantarovski. They're all out tonight. Nazarene towards the back post in front of Petratos, too far in front of Costa.
Good idea. Just the execution was down. He's got a good enough left foot to have found, not just found Petratos, but put it on for him. Great space from Costa. And the ball just too flat. And next time around, Remy Nazarene will make the necessary adjustment. He's certainly capable of that. And that should have been for Costa to attack and hit the back of the net. Should have been up to Costa to miss it, not have to stretch to try and control it. Yeah, I saw a couple of the Jets players before the game. Benny Kantarovski might be a little while, unfortunately for him.
He's had some awful luck, hasn't he?
Well, just talking to him, he's actually quite hopeful that finally they might have found the epicenter of that ongoing problem. But it remains to be seen. He's in Cottonwool at the moment. He's certainly a player that the Jets need around with his experience and quality.
Yeah, closing in on 200 games as well. Up goes O'Toole. Falls for Negro. Tongic. Bazanik. And then Kai Rolls. Kai Rolls played with Connor O'Toole. They both actually signed at the same time for Brisbane Roar. And they spent their time there together. 16-17 season. Tongic. Negro. Pressure from O'Toole.
It's great defending from Connor O'Toole. Left back is his to lose now. Van Vujica was at the club down at Western United. Bobby Burns, of course, on loan. Did such a great job, Bobby Burns, but his loan period with the Jets extinguished, went back to the UK. It's now Connor O'Toole's. He's certainly accepted the opportunity. He looks very, very good.
Yeah, and was sadly injured as well when he headed back, Bobby Burns, which was sad to hear. There's Nisbet. Match just meandering along at the moment, needing someone to take it by the scruff of the neck. The Mariners have had a better period, though. The Jets really having the better of the running for the first 20. And the Mariners have come into it since then. Tongyik, Simon stooping, finds Nisbet. Negro and Stensness linking up. Back to Mark Birighitti, the former Jet, played 77 games for the club between 2012 and 2016. Clisby floating it forward onto the head of Tom Moore Stanley. Jackson, and off the boot of Qual.
Toes. Easy all the way. Easy, go. Up. Lucas. No, we get there.
And last season, the issue for both sides was in front of goal. Mariners the worst attacking side, Newcastle the third worst, so that's what they've got to arrest this season. Defensively, obviously the Mariners were also the worst, but Newcastle were slightly better than their position on the table. 7th best defence in the league, despite finishing 8th, so it's this end of the pitch they're looking to work on this season, and the additions of Nazarene and Ewell will assist in that department.
A good start for Stefan Negro on A-League debut for the Central Coast Mariners. Sitting in at right fullback. Started very well for Alan Stajic.
O'Toole bending. Bozanic with the clearance away. Jackson. And now Casella. Brilliant work from Jaden Casella. Angling his run in towards Qual. Turning defenders inside and out. Now Simon, and he wins a corner for the Mariners. He was outstanding for Rockdale in the NPL New South Wales, was Jaden Casella, and we saw that potential right there.
Yeah, it's a great burst. Moragas left stranded. He carried the ball with real purpose. Look at him sizing up the opportunities. In the end, the Jets had recovered in good numbers. Matt Simon's shot was going to be a harmless one, but it's deflected off Topple Stanley for the corner. So something still to come of it for the Mariners. A great start by Casella.
If you get the chance and you're on YouTube, check out the highlights of that NPL New South Wales Grand Final and see his goal. It is impressive. Clisby bending it. Dangerous for Newcastle. And they've somehow got it away from danger. Casella tries his luck, deflection, appeals for handball. Stephen Lucas said the arms were in a natural position. I'm sure the VAR will have an inspection.
Well, Kowal's a real handful.
Oh, gee, it looked to be a handball in their halves. From Costa Petratos. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. And the VAR allowing play to go on. There wasn't much reaction time for Petratos in that replay we saw. And that's what Chris Griffiths-Jones thought, the VAR. Clisby towards the back post. Duncan pushing it away. And the throw going the way of Valentino Ewell and the Newcastle Jets.
Well, there was a half appeal there. I'm sure the VAR was rifling through that one, and perhaps the one after to which you referred. A shot from outside the box.
Was Costa Petratos' arm in the natural silhouette? I'm sorry, Harps, for bringing that up.
Anyhow, I mean, the new mantra is in VAR we trust. It's going to be imprinted, embossed out of the National Treasury on all the coins that come out. Aussie coins.
Qual. Burgate coming across to screen, and the free kick goes the Mariners' way. He disagrees. What are your thoughts, Harps?
Well, I thought it was a fair win. The referee had a different angle, different view. good period of pressure this from the Mariners. That look really strong.
So who will it be from this kind of range? Simon is there. Stenson is just off to the left. Clisby as well. And Bozanic. So there you go. That stat, just top left corner of screen. 4 shots to nothing the last 10. So Mariners have been on top after the Jets had the early running. Almost inside the final 10 minutes before half time. So will it be Ollie or Jack? It will be Bozanic. Can keep it down.
He didn't ever trouble Jack Duncan. The goal at the moment for the Mariners would really consolidate this very strong period they're enjoying at the moment. The foundation for which has been their energy to cover the ground and compete. Really done a good job in setting that standard for themselves here, game 1.
And one thing that's going to have to happen for both clubs this season is some of their new players, some of their young players are going to have to step up in the goal scoring department, because Mariners lost 15 of 26 of their goals in terms of player departures. The Jets lost 15 as well of their 32 from last season in departures. So that's where it's going to have to come. The new men like Nazarene and Ewell for Newcastle. Qual, can he step up for the Mariners? Casella. At the moment, it's Newcastle with Nazarene with this opportunity against the run of play. Called in, not his best corner. Man on loan from Melbourne City. That's a better delivery. Simon there at the near post. Attempted bicycle from Lockie Jackson. And Stephen Lucas got him for a high boot, has he?
He has got him for a high boot. So if that goes in, is it still a high boot?
Gee, it was close to hitting Kai Rolls in the face, wasn't he?
Not that it was ever close to going in, I should say.
Nisbet screams from the Jets bench, and Negro goes on. Matt Simon floating it up to the back post. The header from Casella to Bozanic. Nisbet, Bozanic on the volley. Just pushed it wide.
Makeable, very makeable. He's covered some great ground, mate. Taken up some very good positions, Ollie Bozanic.
Now have a look at this. Nikolai Topor-Stanley very unhappy. Having a lot to say to Stephen Lucas, and that was in the build-up there. There's the strike from Bozanic.
Well, they're getting, the Jets have got them in the pincer movement. Craig Deans is talking with Forthy, Kurt Ams about the same thing. Asserting themselves are the Mariners. The Jets has got a little bit of work to do to level things up.
O'Donovan, Thurgate. Topor-Stanley made his debut against the Mariners for Sydney FC way back in 2006. The big Nikolai, the Jets captain, and also the man who scored goal of the season in the A-League last year. And he said during the week that he's keen to go back-to-back. He's got it in his locker. That strike from range.
Right shoulder.
Casella, he's been busy in this first half, sliding it wide to Clisby. Moragas, the early substitution for Jason Hoffman. That's why Lucas Moragas is out there. Hoffman clipped or I think clipped is an understatement by Oli Bozanic. Good link up down the right. Nazarene and Ewell. The excitement machine's 3-on-1 here. He cuts it back towards O'Donovan, and it was the final pass which let the Jets down big time there.
Well, what a chance for Newcastle. Beautiful touch from Nazarene. That's what his game is about. It's a good burst. They had a numerical advantage, and Ewell couldn't find either of his supports.
Jets fans finding their voice, but they will be so frustrated with their side not finishing that chance. That's a gilt-edged opportunity for Newcastle. Nazarene trying to use his skills to get away from Bozanic. He wanted the pass to the left, did the Mariners captain. Instead, they turned it over to Newcastle. And O'Toole is finding Petratos. Negro tried to stick a boot in and won the ball back for the Mariners. It turned over to Top or Stanley. Floating it across in front of Ewell. Now Nazarene, what a second touch that was, and the strike at Birigidi. But that was skillful from Rami Nazarene. He did everything right, except the final strike was straight at the Mariners keeper. We'll get a look at that in just a moment. Rolls. Jukarkovic and Top or Stanley. Finally, things just happening for the Jets after a challenging period for them. Final 5 minutes now of the first half. The F3 derby on New Year's Eve. The Mariners haven't won in this clash since 2015. The Jets in 2 New Year's Eve matches, one against Perth, one against the Mariners, have not won either. Tongik and Stensnes. Negro. He's going to win his side of throw. Stefan Negro, who began the year with Green Gully, only got to play a few matches before the pandemic ended that season in NPL Victoria, and then he went to Darwin to quarantine before coming to the Mariners for a trial. And here's the yellow card coming out for Roy O'Donovan. For that contact on Stensnes.
I didn't see a lot in that, to be honest with you, but Roy didn't react at all. He seemed a bit perturbed.
Well, Stajic is just saying, Kurt Adams, have a look at that. As to us, yeah, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot in it.
So maybe our angle hit.
And now it's bouncing in front of Quall, who gets there first. And Alu Quall scores his first A-League goal. And what a moment that is for the Mariners young gun. The Central Coast score first on New Year's Eve, and they lead their rivals by a goal to nil.
Well, after having a couple of good sights on goal, the Newcastle Jets, Quall's goal that actually is going to separate the teams sums up the Mariners' approach today. Not in a technical sense, not that it was direct, but the fact that they're really hungry in the competition. And when it got to the duel, the ball bouncing there was one player who was not going to be beaten to it, and that's Alu Quall. Just commitment, perseverance and dedication for the ball has given his team the lead.
And what a story he has. Born in Sudan, his family fled Sudan when he was just 3. They stayed in Egypt for a year, then moved to Sydney, then to Shepparton in 2005. And he's since joined the Mariners, made his debut last season, and now in season 16 of the A-League, on New Year's Eve, he scores for the first time in the A-League. And the cannon has erupted and got a bit of smoke on the pitch for the moment. There it is. Fired for every goal. Mariners matches here in Gosford. Simon. Moragas. And all of a sudden the Mariners will be playing with so much more confidence after that. There's Alan Stajic. Nisbet to Simon. Wouldn't they love a second before half-time? Bozanic. Now great to have Oli Bozanic back in the A-League. Tongyik finds his captain. Now rolls. Clisby. So 3 minutes of additional time. Moragas trying to speed away from Qual. And he'd have adrenaline coursing through his veins, wouldn't he, at the moment? So he rushed back to do the defensive work. Jackson. Topo Stanley. Thurgate. Just over a couple of minutes until both sides will head to the sheds. Topo Stanley in front of O'Toole. Ugarkovic. Ewell has no one on him on the right for Newcastle. Moragas doesn't spot him, instead opts for Petratos. Pass to Moragas, who's able to clip it up to Valentino Ewell, who took on Clisby. And it will be a late corner for Newcastle.
Well, some reprieve for the Jets. Clisby strong in the tackle. It's been a key duel, that one. Ewell v Clisby. Honours probably split. Ewell could have been clearly the clubhouse leader had he maximised a couple of the chances to deliver goal-scoring opportunities. But as it is, even money, and the Jets on the cusp of half-time throw themselves a lifeline.
And Stensness rose tallest with the head up. Moragas arrived too late and has clattered into Josh Nisbet and goes into the book.
They just hesitated, did Moragas, and then did the clattering. Ref with no option but to give him the yellow card at that point.
The first yellow card of his A-League career in game number 3. The youngster who's come through the Canberra United youth system. Also played with Canberra FC and Belconnen during his time in the nation's capital. Birigidi finds the head of O'Toole. Petratos sandwiched in there by Stensness and Qual. Ewell trying to beat Clisby. He's not going to do it on that occasion. And that is that for the opening 45 minutes on New Year's Eve. And the home fans ecstatic with that first half. And they'll be keen to see that once again in the second, and the Mariners taking all 3 points away on New Year's Eve. Alu Qual with his first A-League goal. Half-time, it is the Central Coast Mariners 1, Newcastle Jets 0.